Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Are you ready? All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
Now, Miggs and Swig, Life Out Loud on 102.5.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Miggs and Swig Show, Saturday edition. Well, we actually only have one edition, and that's Saturday, every Saturday from 11 to 2. Usually joined with Don Miggs and Lisa DiBartolo. Miggs. My name is Ben Swig. But we do have a special co-host today, and we have a special co-host that we've been trying to get as a co-host for about 4 years now. He finally agreed to do the show with me today because I am flying solo. And that is one Mr. Ryan Hoppe.
Yeah, this is long negotiations. My agent reached out to your agent. Man, it went down to the wire.
It did. And I almost had to pull the plug and say that we were just going to do a best of because you were being so hard in your negotiations. And I think at about maybe 10 o'clock last night, we came to an agreement that you were going to co-host the show with me.
And this also goes out to one of my managers known as Don Miggs for coming up with the idea, because we were going to do best of, but then my manager Don Miggs and my agent were like, hey, let's give Ryan Hoppe a chance. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of people like him. And Ben Swig, he's like the Applebee's of radio. Where could this go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we both consistently average radio for the next 3 hours. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they had nothing to do with not wanting to do radio with you tomorrow, or but Mo is going to be doing best of because he's got something. So I think
a new kid.
Yeah, but that new kid is still in his wife's belly, there, buddy.
I know, but you have to go. I got close to knocking up. No, I got close to knocking up my ex. So thank God, Father, Son, Holy Man up there for not making that happen. But I will say, I wasn't sure if there's like preparatory process where like maybe you go to Babies R Us and you walk around and like you become a little more busy while she's pregnant. I don't know. Never had a kid, Ben. You've had like 3.
Like 3? No, I have had 3. Not much that we can do with the species that has a penis. We've done it. We've planted. Now it needs to cook. Fun begins.
I just didn't know maybe if like plans changed a bit where like you become a little more busier because you have to like, I don't know. What do I know?
Not a lot, obviously.
Do you hear that echo?
I do. What is that?
I don't know. It's not me. No. Bizarre.
You know, what a morning we had, Hoppe, and we had the first mental health awareness month kicking it off, 8 to 10, Break the Stigma with Mike Olivero. And I think it went beyond what I had imagined. I don't know what, you sat and listened. I don't know what your reaction.
Well,
Every Saturday during the month of May from 8 to 10.
it reminds you that people are always listening. You don't realize, like, it's just us talking, but there's thousands of people that are listening to us right now, and good morning. But it makes you realize that we're all in this together on this planet. Like, as corny as it sounds, because here at the Bone, you break balls to me. Not you, but other people. At the Bone, it can be snarky, it can be edgy, but, like, there definitely is a platform that needs to be set, and we did this morning when it comes to making the listeners feel at home, because like our phone lines were blowing up. Like there were calls I couldn't get to because I was having to screen other calls. You know what I mean? Like you don't realize how much people suffer until you do a show about it.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen. We have some experience on this show because we do talk about it quite frequently. And, when I've been on SBK show or a Cat Named Mo show, and we brought up the topic of mental health or addiction or alcoholism, all the above, it seems to strike a nerve. Two nerves that I've seen struck over the past couple of years doing radio is that and Donald Trump.
There's a certain comfort when you realize that other people go through it, because it was definitely during the quarantine when I quit drinking that I just told myself I'm not going to drink while I'm in this house, because I can't go out to the bar to walk, because I would walk to a bar by my house, get some exercise in, and then the gym was closed. So I'm like, I'm not going to gain weight because I'm going to drink. So I haven't drank in like 15 months. And there was a lot of suffering, Ben, like panic attacks, crying from like March till September. Then I met my girlfriend and life's gotten better. But I'm not saying it's just because of her, but I definitely learned a lot about myself from the 6 weeks that Florida was shut down, from like March 18 through, it was like this time last year. And like those 6 weeks were the worst 6 weeks of my life. But oh boy, Ben, I learned so much about Ryan Hoppe that I didn't even know Ryan Hoppe knew.
And I think that was a theme for this morning, and I think it's a theme for my life, is growth does not come to me, or the willingness to grow does not come to me when everything is going great. I need a little pain mixed in to spark that willingness.
My thing that I really need to work on is not letting little things get to me. So, for example, I had a wonderful Friday. Got up. Everything went great with the Mike Calter show. I came home. My girlfriend looked beautiful. She made me lunch. I was beginning to watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV. Like, the day could not have been better. So then we go into the kitchen to eat, and then we ate, and then she was getting ready for work. And we have this new cat. The new cat and my old cat do not get along at all. Oh, they don't get along, bro. The one cat, Luna, the one I've had for 3 years, is trying to get along with him now, but this new one's being a douche. I'm like, bro.
Last week, Luna was being the bitch.
And now Hoagie, we call him Hoagie Jones, because he looks like the kid Hogarth from the cartoon Iron Giant, but my girlfriend doesn't want to call him Hogarth, so we named it Hoagie, so it's Hoagie Jones. Man, like, so my girlfriend goes to put on makeup to get ready for work because she's a makeup artist. And what we do is when we put them in different rooms, there's like a halfway point from the kitchen to the bedroom where there's the bathroom, and we'll put one cat in the bathroom, and then we'll switch the cat in the living room, and then sneak the cat into the bedroom from the bathroom. But she was trying to do it all at once because she was like, you seem tired, you want to eat lunch, which I told her next time, just tell me you need help. So I hear her go, ah, like not that loud, but a decently loud yell. And you see the two cats like hissing at each other. And like I grabbed him and nothing happened, but like I have scratches all over my arm. Like I feel like I was hanging out with Carol Baskin, bro. Like I got these scratches and I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then the funniest part about cats is we have a little crate. So we put him in timeout for like 40 minutes, and then he gets out and he's like charming and he's like meowing and he's licking you and rubbing against your knee. And you're like, this isn't a kid where like maybe if Asher wants a timeout, you then are able to have that man-to-man talk with him. Like it's that like you realize it's just a cat. Like how are you supposed to teach it?
I mean, it seems to me that after the timeout, the cat came out and was on its best behavior. So it obviously maybe it learned from its time.
Because my cat, the one we have now, Hoagie, the one we just got, Ben, he was adopted by like a 20-year-old who had a bunch of alpha cats that were like mean at the house. And she had like 4 cats. And all those cats made fun of Hoagie, whatever his previous name was. So then she just returned him to PetSmart. So when we adopted him, he was all excited to leave the crate. So I think my cat, when we put him in the crate, he was thinking he was going back to PetSmart for a second time. So then the rest of the night, he was on his best behavior. I was like, relax, cat. You have a good life. You're in a good apartment. We love you. Relax.
You're not going back to the orphanage. It's the idea that, I don't know what cats are because I'm not a cat person, but
I think you would be a great cat person, Ben.
There's no chance. There's no chance. but I think that when you bring two dogs or you introduce two dogs, there's going to be an alpha. There's going to be a non-alpha. There could be two alphas. And what I've sort of learned about it is you let them figure it out.
We just have to be there.
Yeah, well, you have to be there. It could get, especially if you have two alpha males, but eventually the leader of the pack, will rise to the top. And you say you don't have kids, but that story you said of them getting in a fight and you having to get in the middle reminds me a lot of my, two. Well,
Ben, last night, so my girlfriend went to go see her mom, who lives like 45 minutes from where we live. I don't want to say what town, but so I had the night to myself. So I was laying down in bed around 6:30, put on American Dad. I usually put on a cartoon before I go to bed, so I have to be up at 3 on Saturdays. And I put on like American Dad, Family Guy, Futurama. No, I'm not watching like. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you have. Anyway, so I'm looking at the cat, and I have that like forgiveness where like your heart kind of melts for him and you feel love. And I saw like my life flashing before my eyes as I was taking my sleeping meds, where I'm beginning to close my eyes and you're beginning to kind of sleep, but you're awake. And I was like, man, time's going to fly. And before I know it, I'm going to have a kid. It was the weirdest moment. I've had that recently because I'm going to be 28 in September. Now, granted, my girlfriend's 3.5 years younger than me. So she's 20 something. Don't want to say, even though I just kind of said, but it's like, you go like, man, and the amount of time. No, you know what I mean? You just go, man, like I could just hear the like baby crying, and cause like we talk about it, cause I love my girlfriend more than anything. I've never felt this way about anybody. And like, she definitely, calls me out on my, bull crap like you noticed at dinner. So she's definitely the girl of my dreams. It's just like, you go, man, like, and then my mom's like pushing it, by the way. Oh my God. My mom's like, my mom's going to hate that I brought this up, but I don't care. It's good radio. When my girlfriend was in town, they were like walking around, and she would even kind of bring it up around us, but she'd be like, oh, how are the kids? Like about our two cats. And she refers to the cats as kids. And then she'll make little comments where she's like, you guys seem like a happy family. And you're like, ugh.
Well, we talked about it last week. Ryan, I think that it's, there's certain milestones couples go through. They meet. They have obviously separate places, a lot of time together, like you and your girlfriend. They may or may not decide to move in together. Then you sort of see what it's like to live with that person. Some people get a pet together. You guys got a pet together. It's sort of this natural, I don't know if it's done premeditatively or it's just sort of this natural thing. So, yeah, it's all sort of how are we going to, look. And it's easy to sort of say, okay, well, she's, great with the cat. She's going to be a good mom, or he's great with the cat. He's going to be a good dad. But, just when you start laying down, you start thinking about kids and marriage and all that stuff. It's a little too far in the future. It's too like.
I mean, it wasn't like I thought about it for 20 minutes. It just crossed my mind for a second. No, I mean, I have, but I also said it about my previous girlfriend. So we're definitely pump the brakes, bro. Like, we're not getting married tomorrow. The one thing I will say, though, about why I really love my girlfriend is she reminds me, and I'm not comparing her to Nadia and me to you, but there's definitely something where, like, she keeps me in check. And I noticed that with Nadia and you. And it's like, I don't know. I just remember when I first joined this show, it was coming off of my last breakup. And I remember I was so jealous of, like, everybody that was in a relationship. But, like, hearing about how, like, Nadia would, like, scold you and, like, keep you in...
Scold?
Wrong word, but you know what? That's a better way of saying scold. Are you sure about that? Eating your ice cream before you go to bed?
I still, unlike many on this radio show, still have my testicles. But go ahead.
What about Don? Does he have his?
Yes, ish. Maybe one.
Maybe 1.5.
The idea, though, is I think that is, accountable, or I would hope that she would say the same thing about you. And that's, I think, in my experience with the relationships and, one marriage that didn't work and it just married the wrong person for me, is that you make each other better. And as corny as that is from that, as good as it gets, you make me want to be a better man or whatever the line was. But that's really what it's about.
Yeah, there's definitely this thing where we can read each other's moods, and I didn't have that with my last two girlfriends, where, like, I immediately can even pick up by the way she'll send texts. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, thank you so much for checking on me. Or she can tell when I come home from work that I'm really tired, and she picks. So, like, that's where I could tell that I really love my girlfriend, is that we pick up on each other's, like, social cues really well. Like, especially, like, if me and her are out and about somewhere, we'll be driving home and she'll be like, were you nervous there? And I'm like, how could you tell? And she's like, because I can just read your face perfectly. Like, there's that, like, what's the word? Symmetry. Like, we can, like, read it perfectly.
Drive home.
Not when I drive home, but, like, just, No. I meant when we're driving home from, let's say, going on a double date or something, she'll assess how that night went. You know what I mean? So, for example, she'll be like last week when we went on a double date with these people, this couple that's like a year older than me that I've known for like 4 years. And she was like, you seemed a little nervous at first, but then settled into your own. And I'm like, how did you know that? And she's like, because I can read you like a book. That's what I'm saying is...
So let me bring you back to, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, the drive home from dinner with Mike Calter, his wife, my wife, and Lisa and Dawn.
She was, she said that you guys respected me, and she wasn't sure how it was going to go, because you got to remember, I don't say her name on air. She's not a public figure. It's not like my last relationships where, like, I was promoting their social media. Like, nobody really knows who she is. So imagine, like, she's in a way, but they don't. Yeah, but then it's like, it's weird. Like, you hear these, she said it best, like, it was just like so humanizing to hear these voices in the radio and then they're right in front of you. Because, like, we can joke around and say, oh, we're the Applebee's of radio, but there's somebody driving on the Howard Franklin or somebody in Sefner, and I can name every part of town that's listening, and they've never met us, but they feel like they know us because they listen every Saturday. And, like, it makes you realize that, like, I'm doing something legit.
What was some negative things she said about?
She really didn't have anything negative to say. And I'm not just saying that. She really liked Amanda and Lisa. She thought they were really bubbly and nice. And she said that Don was really charismatic and she thought he was cool. And that you were funny, too, when you were talking about, like, meeting Trump and Tiger Woods. And that's not because of the name dropping, but it was just a unique dinner because, like, it just felt like we belonged there. Like, I think going in, she was nervous, thinking, like, you guys were doing, like, a laboratory report on, like, rats. Yeah, it's like, that's kind of how she felt going in, and I'm being real. She's like, I forget the movie she quoted, but, like, some movie from, like, 14 years ago where, like, these people are used as an example. And at first when I told her, do you want to go out to eat with Miggs and Swig and their wives and Mike Calter and his wife, she was a little bit afraid because of my past in radio in Cleveland and here in town when I wasn't as well organized, that I was kind of the joke of radio. So she was afraid that there was going to be teasing, but I think she left really surprised and really impressed that, like, it was just a bunch of people hanging out.
Did the teasing after you guys left?
I bet.
Yeah.
Amanda was just giving me great advice. I mean, me and her were talking outside for like 10 minutes, and then you and Mike were talking.
Yeah, Amanda, very similar to my wife. Obviously, is has a master's in social work and is saving the world, one person at a time. But very similar personalities, and ironically, married to very similar men who could.
What do you and Mike Calter have in common?
We're both extraordinarily good-looking men.
Hell yeah, you are.
That's not true. We both have I think the main thing that Mike and I have in common is we have way outkicked our coverage, and in the relationship.
I can relate to that.
And I was just going to say, you have joined as soon as I had met your girlfriend, and within the first 5 minutes, I said, you know what, Ryan Hoppe can join this club. The other thing Mike and I have in common is we are. He probably wouldn't say this about me, but low expectations, low maintenance friends, and hang. Like we went to New York to that Beastie Boys show, and whether we were at dinner and we were on our phones constantly, like there just wasn't any. We could do whatever we wanted, and if it was nothing, it was nothing. So there wasn't like a big. I don't know if you've been on vacation with friends, but they want to do stuff.
Oh, it's the worst.
Just wanted to go to bagel shop before we left, and besides that, we're both really, really, really funny guys.
What was the first thing you did when you first hung out with Mike Calter? Because I know you met everybody gradually through joining the Bone, like in 2015. So what was like the moment when you realized you could be friends with him?
That's an interesting question. I think I don't remember the first time that we hung out outside of a Bone event. It probably was a lot like what we did was with a dinner. But we did go on a family vacation, spring break vacation.
I remember that.
To Turks and Caicos. And again, that's when I realized that, I could hang with that guy because like Amanda, like, Nadia and Amanda were like, two peas in a pod right off the bat. But it was just easy. There wasn't like, okay, we got to go here. We got to go here. We got to see this. We got to do this. Like, you want to go to the beach? You want to go to the beach. If Ben wants to stay in, in the house and work or be on his computer, be on his phone, fine. And then there was a little casino in town, and Mike and I went one night, and that's when I realized that, yeah, we can hang out.
Mine was the same thing when I was on the Calter cruise 5 years ago. Like, there's Mike Calter on air, which he's the same person as he is off air, but there's those moments where you're just hanging out with him one-on-one, where, like, you feel that connection. I don't know if you feel... Like, I felt that with everybody at dinner. Like, we're all human. Because, like, on air, the mics are on right now. We're talking to people that are in their cars. So this is, like, a bigger version of us. But those moments where radio people hang out and you're not on air and you're not even talking about radio drama and you're just talking, like hearing about Eddie DeBartolo or hearing about you growing up or just hearing about things like that. To me, that's when I think radio people bond the most because we're our biggest fans. You know what I mean? We love to pat ourselves on the back. We love to talk crap about others because we're all insecure and that's just real. But those moments when radio people can hang out and just have a good time and not have to think about 102.5 FM, to me, is like the key to a good friendship. That's when you know it's legit, is when you don't have to go, oh, did you hear what this person said on this show? Like, when you can honestly relax, Ben, that's when I like people. You know what I mean?
That's, one thing about Mike and a lot of, most, if not everybody, on the station is what you get on radio or what you hear every morning is he's the same person, out whether he has a mic in his face or not. But this is not enough about Mike Calter. He gets enough love. Yeah,
he's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, when you make $17 million a year, you're okay.
17.5.
17.5, you got a bump, huh?
Hell yeah, you did. I make that minus like 6 zeros.
Yeah, okay, now it's a little tough math. Why don't we go to commercial?
Yes.
And we'll come back, and, this show is the Hoppe and Swig show, and we're putting Hoppe at the top of the billing. We're going to also have Mike Oliveira is going to come in at some point to break down the NFL draft, talk football. Hey, mental health and football, not a bad weekend. And then, allegedly, I should say, Mo's going to come back.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We shall see.
Well, he's already dropped a couple hints that it's not going to happen because TSA needs him, quote unquote.
Yeah, they do.
We'll be here until 2 on the Miggs and Swig Show, 102.5 The Bone.
You're listening to Miggs and Swig on